This is going to be a quick, I don't know if it's going to be quick, but it's going to be a video showing you how to add hosting to your project. I know we covered this in class, but I wanted to make a video that was kind of uninterrupted, specifically focused on setting up hosting, with me just walking through the steps and explaining kind of what's going on. So what I've done here is I'm logged into my Firebase console, and I'm going to pick a project that I know does not have hosting yet on it. And so I can go here to this project, image bar. And if I go all the way over to the edge and you kind of hover over these guys, this one here with the globe, this is the hosting one. So if you select hosting and click on hosting and you get here to this get started, if you want to, you can watch some of these videos for additional information, but we're just going to kind of get straight to it. So we click get started. And it's going to lay out pretty clearly the instructions that you want to do. You need to install the Firebase CLI. You can do this anywhere. This does not have to be done inside of your project. I strongly, but what I found is, let me open up a project here. And let's see, which one are we going to do it on? All right, so yes, here's a project that's not connected to Firebase. Well, it's called Firebase Images, so it is connected to Firebase, but it's not set up with Firebase Hosting. And this is the app that I use to upload images to Firebase. And so this looks like this will be a good one to add hosting to. So let's go back to the instructions here. Once again, because this has the npm install -g, it's going to install the Firebase tools globally. So that means they can be used in any project. So you should only have to install this one time on your machine. You can click this link here to copy it. And what I like to do is, since I already have Visual Studio Code open and it has a terminal, I like to just do it inside of the terminal. So you can just paste the command in, npm install g Firebase tools, and let's let that run. And while that's running, we'll just kind of go back here to our project and take a sneak peek to kind of what they're going to ask us to do next. And what they're going to ask us to do next is to kind of log into Firebase. At this point, you should already have a Firebase login, so everything should be cool. You'll see when you run the Firebase login, but it's going to pop you up into a browser and ask you for your credentials and log you in if you're not logged into the right environment. So let's see if this command is done running. So let's just pop back over here, and it's done running. For the purpose of this exercise, you can kind of ignore these warnings. They're just warnings, they're not errors, so you should be okay. So then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to copy this Firebase login, and I need to make sure that I'm in the right project, which I believe I'm logged in as Aaron at Clearly Innovative. So let's see who it says I'm logged in as. Firebase login. And it says I'm already logged in as Gmail. I don't want to be that account. I want to be my other account. For most of you only have one account. I have two, so I can actually, I believe I can Firebase log out. And so now I can do a Firebase log in. Why not? And then I want to use my Clearly Innovative account, so I select that. And I say allow. And now I'm successfully logged in, and you can close this window. And then we need to initialize the project in the root. And so as long as you're at the top level of your project, i.e. this, which is where you should be when you open up your console, you're good to go. So now we're going to paste our Firebase Init. And right now, since we're just focusing on hosting, we are going to use this very first one. It says hosting, configure files for Firebase hosting, and optionally set up GitHub action deploys. Do not do the one that says GitHub that actually sets up action deploys. We're just doing configure files. Okay? Configure files for Firebase hosting. That's all we're doing. When you select it, you have to click the space button for it to activate. You see how the black dot is getting filled and not filled? You need it to be filled. And then after you select the hosting, then you hit enter. And then we're going to use an existing project. And so once again, you use your arrows to move up and down. Then you go to use existing project and you click enter. And I said I wanted to use that bar project, image bar right there. So you just move it to it. This one, as you can see, there's no circle, so you don't select. You just move the arrow to the one you want, image bar, and then hit enter. Okay. Now, because this is a Ionic React project, when we build for deployment, it will create a build directory, and that is the directory that we want to use for public. So we'll just type build right here and hit enter. We do not want to configure as a single page app. You can type the capital N, or you can just hit enter. Whatever letter is capitalized, that is the default that will be selected when you hit enter. So we're just going to hit enter. We do not want to set up GitHub deploys, so we're going to, once again, the N is the large one, so we're just going to hit enter again. And then it's configuring everything. So what it has done is it has set up this Firebase JSON file, which has some basic information about the hosting. And then it's also created this resource file, which lets it know that this project is now associated, the default project is associated, unless otherwise specified, as image.bar. For the purpose of this exercise, we don't need to modify either of these files. All right, so now this project is configured to work with this image bar and provide hosting there. Just to make it right, let's do a save all. Everything's already saved. Let's go back and see what the instructions tell us to do next. Next. And then to deploy to Firebase, this is very straightforward. You simply type Firebase space deploy in your project console. But we need to do a couple of things first, since we haven't actually built it. So there's this dummy build directory with the files in it that that Firebase needs, but we need to actually build our application. And so to build our application, we just type Ionic build. And now this will run the build process, and as it says, it's creating an optimized build. And this packages and compresses everything so that it has a smaller, for lack of a word, bundle that's being deployed. And as it says, it makes your application should run faster because it should be optimized at this point. So let's let this run. Okay, now it's all done. And remember what I said about how your package gets optimized and bundled. So you can see what it's doing is it's creating these kind of chunks. And it's packaging up the application into smaller chunks that can get loaded in when the application runs. All right, we don't need to do any of this. Our project has already been, and you can see now the build directory is full. And so now, as the instruction stated, it said to deploy, you just type Firebase deploy. So let's go back to our console. Let's type Firebase deploy. It's now copying all the files up. And your deploy is complete. And this is the link to get back to your console for your project. So let's click on this and see. On my Mac, I can just click command click, and it will open it up in a browser. That's what we're going to do. And this is back into our project. If I can go back to our original one, and if I close our original one, or actually just do what it says here, go to the console, it's taking me back to the exact same place, but this is my hosting information. And so you can see here that it says I deployed it actually today at 11 a.m. So it knows the package was deployed, who it was deployed by. This doesn't look right because it says 0 files. So let me make sure I did this. Let's see what I'm going to go to the website. Okay, so here we are in our sample file. I've kind of opened up the side menu to see any errors if they happen. And so we're going to choose a file to upload. Let's see. Let's take this ping. And then we're going to upload. You can see the progress happening. That's the progress updating, and then the image gets rendered to what it was. The important thing to notice is that here we're running this application on the web. It's not being run locally. And so this is a basic example of how you get hosting working with a Firebase project. Hopefully this was helpful. Leave some comments below if you want some more detail on this, and I'll include the links that were specified in the Ionic documentation. Thanks.